Can you talk about Operation Paperclip?
The Nazis had tremendous scientific advances. And at the end of the war, the United States, the Soviet Union, and Britain were involved in hunting down Nazi scientists. So, I mean, there were teams of Americans fighting and trying to get to these people before the Soviets did to snatch them up. And so what we did is we took the Nazis' knowledge, and the Nazis had amazing rocket technology. And we brought these people, and again, these people were members of the Nazi Party. They were officers in the SS. They were not just like scientists locked up in a lab. I mean, these people visited the concentration camps where these rockets were built, where the slaves were killed. They knew exactly what the rockets were there for. They attended parties when the rockets were launched. Okay, so we took these men and we brought them into America, and we used them, and they became the founding fathers of NASA. And they built rockets for us, and then they started working with NASA when NASA wasn't even there, I don't think. They played a big part of us going to the moon. Now, and these are the two people who I talk about, Wernher von Braun and Kurt Diebes, and they're honored by NASA, they're honored by Huntsville, they're honored by the U.S. Army. Basically, what a lot of people are saying is the choice that America had was hang them or hire them.
Yeah. Okay,
with the scientists and people, which is fine. Okay, we live in the real world. If we didn't get these people, the Soviet Union would have gotten them. West Germany needed to be financially solvent and a strong bulwark of Western freedom and democracy. If it was fine, okay. But we celebrated them. Okay, right. We didn't they should have been on their knees every day thanking for the fact that they weren't swinging from a rope. Okay, but we took it a million steps further. There's a giant difference between, and I thought about it a lot with the moral thing, because these, especially the scientists, I mean, I don't think they were particularly, I don't think they were born evil. I just think they were I think they were just utterly immoral. At least one of them, Kurt Diebes, was a very committed Nazi. He, if you read the book Operation Paperclip, which is how they brought these Nazis into America, there's a fantastic book about it called Operation Paperclip. There's also another one called The Nazis Next Door, and it's all about our relationship with them. So, I mean, one of them denounced a member of his colleague to the Gestapo, the Third Reich Secret Police. I mean, this is like you announce somebody to the Gestapo. You're basically making sure this person has a high chance of getting killed, right, being executed. Okay, he wore his SS uniform to work. So the choice basically is, I mean, look, these people, they got their lives. Okay, if you look on the scale, they got their lives, first of all. They got to do research that any scientist would dream of. They got the biggest grant in the history of grants. They got the support of the biggest government ever. Okay, they became celebrities. They were on covers of Time magazine. They met with presidents. They now have bases, have centers, and including with the U.S. Army after them. The people who they murdered in order to build their rockets don't even have a grave. Their bodies were thrown in pits like trash. So if you look on the overall balance of things, I think that asking for them to be honored and completely whitewashed may be a little bit too much on that side. Right. And the same thing with Alfred Krupp. He should have been happy he wasn't hanged. Every day he should have been on his knees thinking that he wasn't hanged. And instead, he was he never apologized. He just said, I'm just doing my job. Okay? This is somebody who's irredeemable. And we are celebrating them. So this goes beyond just using somebody for geopolitical purpose. And one last thing I'll just say, the other extraordinary thing we're doing is we are erasing history by using them. People say that, people who want statues to come down are erasing history. Actually, it's NASA and Harvard and Stanford who are erasing history, because they're acting like these people just came out of nowhere. Like these people didn't have a past.